Sir, in the yesterday's class, I have one doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, creating files and file groups, is it the duty of DBS, no, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
After creating files and file groups, if suppose in a database, if you create any table, by
Okay.
default, it will go and store in primary group, no, sir?
Yes.
If suppose assume that there are three files like NDF files, and
Hmm.
their file groups are like FG1, FG2,
You
FG3
want to
for
see
these.
once you created the table, you want to change the location of the file. I mean, like you want to move the file to another file group, right?
Yes, sir. Not
Uh,
tables I want to move in
that's
that
what.
file.
That's what. That is not possible. Okay, you have to drop and again you have to recreate. Okay, you
Okay.
cannot move from one file group to another file group once you created the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, while creating the table,
Hmm.
whose responsibility is that this table should be in this file or file group?
Actually,
Or
that's our responsibility, DBS responsibility only. Developers won't tell you anything that you have to create this file in this file, or they create this table in this file or in this file group. They don't tell anything. Maintenance comes under our responsibility. So by default, 90% people they will store the tables on MDF files. Once that is full, then they will add extra data files and all. So they don't tell you in case if anything like specific related to the project, specific related to the what we can say activity, then they might ask you or they will give you a query, please create this table and so file group, like that they will give you the query or script.
we need to execute, no, sir?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Guys, again I'm saying, okay, it's a request from my side, please don't join with other names, okay, other than what you are registered with me. Okay, please join with your registered names only, so that now you can see Anil. I am not sure whether he just joined from the okay link. So might be he is able to listen or he is unable to listen, I don't know, but he's not responding. So in case if you join, if you have a chance that you cannot join with your registered name or device, before joining please let me know that I'm going to join with this name with this device, so that I can identify, right? Otherwise people usually they will share the meeting links and all, other people also will join the meetings. Okay, that's the challenge we have. Please join with your registered names only. That is my request from my side. Okay. Yes. Any other questions? No questions. Right. If no questions, just give me a minute. I just started the VM. Let me. Yeah. Right. So how many of you started practicing, guys? I gave you an assignment, right? What happened to that assignment? Any update? How
Yes,
many
sir.
of you? Yeah. So yes, I mean like you just practice in the server, or what is the thing? Have
Just
you
created
completed?
in the
Okay.
notebook.
Have you created tables in the SQL server?
No,
No. Why? What happened?
in notebook we
Yes,
have to.
Sorry.
still we are in installation process at the moment.
Okay.
Monday onwards we will start.
Okay. Okay. Done. Okay. Try to create it, guys. Try to practice again. Otherwise, you will miss the flow and all. Okay. Chalo. Let me check the IP address. CMD IP config. If anyone completed the assignment, please. One minute. Right. Okay, let me open SSMS. So in the last class, we discussed how to create a database, in how many ways we can create the database, what is the architecture, what is the internals of the database or SQL server, how the data will be organized logically, how the data will be organized physically, right? And how to create a table, what precautions you have to take while executing the scripts and all, how to insert the records inside the table, how to filter the records using where condition, all these things we discussed, right? So can anyone tell me how we can, or how SQL Server will organize the things logically? What is the logical hierarchy of the data representation in SQL Server?
SQL Server,
Okay,
databases,
okay,
schema or
Instance
containers,
database.
okay,
tables.
Instant database schema, then table.
okay. Right, so SQL instances, DB, database, and schemas. Inside schemas, we'll have tables. Okay, chalo, very good. And can you tell me physical hierarchy of the table?
SQL
Or
Server instances,
okay,
databases,
okay,
file groups, MDF or NDF,
okay,
Yes.
LDF, extents and pages.
Extents.
Extents and page.
okay. So SQL Server, inside SQL Server will have databases. Inside databases will have file
File
groups and log files.
Data
Okay.
file, then data files.
Yes, correct.
Then pages.
Then extents,
Extents and
then pages. Okay, what is the page
Pages.
size? Yeah, what is the page size?
8 KB.
8 KB.
8 KB. What is an extent?
8
A group of
pages.
8 pages.
Okay, what is the definition of the extent?
Basic allocate
Basic
unit.
allocation unit.
Okay, what is the definition of page?
Basic storage unit.
Storage unit.
Okay. Can we resize the page?
No, okay, not
No.
resize.
No.
Okay, we cannot resize the page. We cannot change the size of the page.
Page.
Okay. How many tables you can create on a single page?
3 to on a
3 to
single page
6
only one table.
page,
One table, sir.
one table only.
Okay,
That should
on
be
one single table can be created on a single page. The
Single page.
table, 1 minute, okay. Right, okay. So we cannot research the page, and yes, one table can be created on multiple pages, but on a single page we cannot create a multiple tables. Okay, page is not
Tables.
shareable between the objects, right? Fine. So very good, guys. Today we'll discuss about the system databases. Okay, so what databases will get? Okay, when you install the SQL server, what are the system databases you will get? How to see the system databases? What is the importance of each system database? What in case if one system database or any of the system databases are corrupted? What will happen? So all these things, okay, we'll discuss. Okay, one person is trying to join. Okay. Right. Okay. So where we can see the system databases, guys, if you expand the databases, if you see system databases, there you can see 4 system databases. Okay. So usually when you install the SQL server, actually, participants are dropping. Guys, can you hear me? Is my voice audible?
Yes,
It's clear,
yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Clear.
clear.
Oh, done. So when you install the SQL server, generally you will get 4 system databases. Actually, you will get 5 system databases. Okay, master, model, MSDB, TempDB, and one more system database is resource database. Okay, but you can see only 4 system databases in the Object Explorer. You can see only 4 system databases in the Object Explorer. Fifth system database you cannot see in the Object Explorer. Okay, that is a hidden database. Because of security, Microsoft, okay, hide the database, resource database, that you cannot see in the system databases, or you cannot see in the table results also. Generally, if I want to see the databases, all the databases, there is a query, okay, to see all the databases in my SQL server, list of all the databases, and now you can see only databases, right? You cannot see who is the owner of this database. You cannot see what is the size of this database. You cannot see, right? But by using a query, you can see that. What is the query? sp underscore help db. Sp means stored procedure. Okay, sp underscore help db. If you execute this query using alt text or anything, you can, okay, see all the databases that are there in your SQL server. You can see all the databases that are there in your SQL server. Okay, you can see all the databases that are there in the SQL server. One more minute, guys. Just a minute. Okay, you can use what is that command, guys? sp underscore help db. If you use sp underscore help db, you can see all the databases that are there in your particular SQL server, guys. Okay, if you see here 1 to 8, okay, 1 Azure database, you can see in the alphabetical order: Azure, batch 44, master, model, MSDB, and finally you can see MDB. In this list also you cannot see resource database. In this list also you cannot see the resource database. Then how can we know, sir, resource database is there or not? If you open the physical files, you can see the resource database physical files, C drive, program files. Whenever you create any database, how many files will be created, guys, by default?
Two files, sir.
Two files will be created. What are those two files?
MDF and LDF.
Yeah.
Okay, one data file, one log file. Okay, so if you go to Microsoft SQL Server, if you go to instance root directory, if you go to MS SQL, if you go to data folder, generally you can see your all database data files and log files in this location. Okay, master database data file, and this is log file. How to identify which one is data file, which one is a log file, guys? Easily by just clicking the icon. How to identify? You can see the difference, right? If it is a
Log
data,
file is looks
Log
like
is mentioned beside all the log files.
very good. That also one thing. And second thing, just by
the
looking the
icon.
icons, okay, it's somewhat different. Okay, if you
Notepad.
see, yeah, if you see
Data file
table,
is a table not
uh,
Yeah.
format.
yes, correct. Okay, if you see table on the database, that is data file. If you see small notepad kind of thing, that is a
Notepad
log
is a
file.
log.
Okay, so this is how you are able to identify which one is data file and which one is log file. Okay, so if you see here, you can see master database data file, log file, model data file, log file, MSDB data file, log file, Mintra data file, log file, TempDB data file, log file, Azure data file, and we have added multiple files to the Azure. You can see F2 and F3. Okay, and batch 44 data file, log file, but you never see, you cannot see that resource database data file, log file. So as discussed, it will be in hidden mode, guys. Okay, so where I can see, but the files will exist, but you cannot see in the regular path. This is the regular path that you can see the data files and log files of other databases, system databases and all. Okay, but the organization, as discussed, you cannot see all the data files and all the log files in one location like this. This is not the correct order in the organization. Only data files will be in one drive, only log files will be in another drive. Yes, you can keep data files and log files separately. Okay, you can keep the data files and log files separately. So you can see all the data files in D drive or E drive, and you can see all the log files in F drive or some other drive. Okay, you can see like that. But where is that resource database data file and log file? Go to MS SQL, go to bin and folder, and if you go down little bit, there you can see data file and log file for resource database. MS SQL system resource, which is data file, MS SQL system resource. Someone said how to identify a data file and log file. Someone said a log will be there in the log file. Log, it will be appended by log. Okay, but here you cannot see log, and also sometimes you cannot see log. Okay, in the data file or log file. Sorry, in the log file name. So the easiest way is by just looking the icons, you are able to identify which one is data file and which one is log file and all. Okay, because of security reasons, they just remove this database from the regular path and keep it in a separate location for the security reasons and all, guys. Okay, so always when you install SQL Server, you will get how many system databases?
5.
Five system databases. Okay, you will get a 5 system database whenever you install any system SQL Server. By default, you will get a 5 system databases and master, model, MSDB, TempDB, and resource database, guys. And resource database. This is how it will work. Okay, what each database will do. Please mute it if you don't have questions. Suresh. Right. Okay. Fine. Still you're on mute. Let me mute you. If you have any questions, you can unmute. Okay. Right. What master will do? What model will do? What is the use of the MSDB? What TempDB will do? What resource database will do? Okay, we'll discuss all these things, guys. So masters generally, master is a brain of the SQL Server, guys. Very important system database. The first system database, okay, that's an important system database, is master system database. The name itself is saying it's a master. Master contains all the information about the SQL Server. What is the SQL Server name? Okay, how many databases are there in the SQL Server? Where these data files and log files are stored of each database, of each other databases. It will store the paths of model database, MSDB, TempDB, all the user databases. Means in which location other databases are created, other data files are created. Okay, it contains all the configuration settings of your SQL server. All the metadata will be related to the SQL server. All the metadata related to the SQL server will be stored in the master database, guys. What is metadata if you ask me? Okay, see, metadata means data about the data. Okay, data about the data. Usually, if you see here, this is the data, right? Database name, okay, and size of the database, who is the owner of the database, database ID, when it was created, so status, whether the database is online or offline. Okay, you can see everything here, right? This is the data. But if you ask me, sir, what is the metadata of this table? Metadata means how many columns are there, what is the table size, who is the object of, who is the owner of this object. So it's a data about the data. Metadata means, okay, about the data means how many columns are there, it's a metadata. How many records are there, it's a metadata. What is the size of this table, it's a metadata. What is the name of this table, it's a metadata. Okay, so all these things comes under metadata. So your master database will store all the metadata related information about other objects. It's the master of the SQL server. It is the brain of the SQL server. If there is no master database, there is no SQL server. Okay, that much critical database it is. If master database is corrupted, you cannot start the SQL server. If master database is corrupted, you cannot start the SQL server. Okay, so that is a very important system database. Not only metadata, it will store the logins information, passwords information of other logins. See, if you see here, if you go to security, okay, here you can see a lot of people, right? Listen carefully, only these people can connect to my SQL server. Those who are there in this list, those who are there in this list, okay, only these people are able to connect to my SQL server, guys. Okay, no other people can connect to the SQL server. In the security concept, I'll explain. In the security concept, I'll explain what is this and all, how to create a login, how to add login in this list and all. I'll tell you. But as of now, only, okay, as of now, only these people can connect to the SQL server. And if you see, I'm using this login, guys. If you observe, okay, computer name / administrator, I am using this login. So if someone deleted this login, I cannot connect to the SQL server. Okay, I cannot connect to the SQL server. If someone deleted this login, I cannot connect to the SQL server, guys. These are all other logins. If I want to give access to Pratyusha, that I have to create a login in this list so that she can able to connect to the SQL server. If I want to give access to Basha, then okay, what I have to do, I have to create a login to Basha in this list, then only Basha is able to connect to the SQL server. See, entering into the Windows server is different, connecting to the SQL server is different. Don't think I am able to log into Windows server, that means you are able to connect to SQL server. No, lot of people can connect to Windows server, right? Windows team will connect to Windows server, network team will connect to Windows server, storage team will connect to Windows server, right? Lot of teams, VM team will connect to Windows server, but are all those people able to connect to my SQL server? No, they cannot. Okay, they cannot connect to the SQL server by default. You have to give access. Even though you are a CEO of the company, if your name is not there in this list, you cannot connect to SQL server. Okay, this is the security list, right? For example, you are staying in a apartment. Okay, so you just bought that apartment, and there will be a security deployed at the apartment gate. You don't allow everyone, right? You will allow, either you have to, okay, tell that he is the relative or friend of yours, and then the security guy will allow, or else you have to register him so that maybe say, imagine one teacher is there, she will comes to the home directly every day, and for that what you have to do, you have to tell to the security, hey, she is my teacher, so you have to allow her whenever she is coming. Okay, means you have to give authorization. Then only that security guy will allow you, okay, or allow that person, okay, that are authorized by you. In the same way, only the list of people that are there in this particular list, in this particular logins list, they only can connect to my SQL server, guys. Okay, so all this logins information will be stored in the master database. All this logins passwords information also will be stored in the master database. What not? Everything will be stored. Everything means not data and all. Metadata of other objects will be stored in the master database. Master is very critical database. If master is down or master is not working, or anyone by mistake deleted the master database data file or log file, guys, if the database wants to be up and running, both files should be there, guys. If anyone deleted this file, one file also, that's it. You cannot start your SQL server. That's it, gone. Your SQL server is gone. You cannot start your SQL server. Okay, which is very important. Master is a very critical and crucial database which will store all the metadata information logically, right? So that is about your master database. Next database is model database. So the name itself is saying model. Model means you know the meaning of model. He is my role model. My father is my role model. My brother is my role model. Okay, Megastar Chiranjeevi is my role model. Pawan Kalyan is my role model. Right, Abdul Kalam is my role model. So we'll have role models, right? Means what? We are trying to imitate that role model, right? Means I'm not saying everyone will do that, but role model means what? He's a model means we'll try to imitate him. Okay, we'll try to do the hard work like him, right? We'll try to own the characteristics of our role model. Okay, in the same way, this will act as a role model for the newly created databases. Whenever I'm creating a database, you can see, okay, you are simply giving one name and you are clicking OK. But have you ever think from where all these values came? I didn't give 8 MB for data file. I didn't give 8 MB for log file. Where these default values came? And how it is automatically taking 64 MB as auto growth, and why it was storing in this particular location only, C drive, why not in other location? Why? From where we are getting all these false, true, everything, these values and all? From where you are getting these things? Okay, so model will help you to get all these default values, guys. Simply, okay, all these values you can see, these values are coming from the model database. If you don't believe me, just check what is the data file size and log file size, guys, initially.
8 KB,
Is it KB?
8 MB,
Okay,
MB, sir. Sorry, sir.
right,
8 MB.
right. Chalo. What I can do, let me go to the properties of this model database. Let me go to the file space. You can see 8 MB, 8 MB, right? What I'll do, I'll make it as a 100 MB. Okay, and this is 80 MB. Okay, chalo. Let me click OK. Guys, the meeting is going to close now. It is showing less than 1 minute. Please join with the same link again. Okay, please try to join immediately with the same link.